don't think that we can ever have peace with my family unless the truth is out there.
And we never went longer than 2 weeks without seeing each other, even though we were obviously doing a long-distance relationship. So it's...
There was a story over the weekend, wasn't it, Hugo, suggesting that there were high-level talks between the King's team and Harry's team about...
When I tell you what went down that night, you're not gonna believe it. Prince Harry wasn't even supposed to be on that jet. Not that night, not that week, honestly, not even that month. He had no plans at all to come back to the UK. But then, one message changed everything. Out of nowhere, chaos broke loose. A whisper from deep inside Buckingham Palace reached Montecito, and suddenly, the peace Harry and Meghan had built started to crumble. It wasn't gossip or rumor this time, it was real. The palace had begun moving on their titles. You could feel the panic spread like wildfire. Harry's team froze, literally frozen mid-sentence. Phones started ringing non-stop, aides whispering in corners, calendars thrown into disarray. And then Harry, instead of doing what everyone expected, made one shocking call. He said, "Get me to London." No PR talk, no strategy meetings, no carefully worded response. Just that. He wanted to face this storm head-on before it became official. Within hours, a jet was waiting. Meghan wasn't coming. The kids weren't coming. Just Harry, flying alone into the heart of the empire he turned his back on. But the twist? The person he wanted to see wasn't King Charles. It was Prince William. That alone told you where the real power sits now. For months, whispers had floated around about the palace making quiet moves, but no one actually believed they'd dare to go through with it. Harry thought it was the same old talk until that night. Someone from inside Buckingham Palace reached out. Not rumor, not speculation, confirmation. The process of removing their titles had officially begun. Papers were moving, approvals were being signed, and the royal machine was in motion.
Today, Prince Harry has just declared war on his brother, Prince William.
When Harry's team heard the news, the room went dead silent. That kind of silence that sucks the air out of your chest. Then, all at once, chaos. Phones ringing off the hook, aides shouting across the room, some trying to confirm if this was real or just another leak. But the more calls they made, the clearer it got. Buckingham wasn't bluffing anymore. This wasn't talk, this was action. Harry didn't hesitate. He didn't hold a meeting. He didn't write a statement. He simply stood up and said it again. "Get me to London." No discussion, no fear, just raw instinct. Because he knew once the palace made it official, there was no turning back. Once the machine moved, nothing stopped it. He'd seen it happen before, and he wasn't going to watch it happen again from across an ocean. So within hours, he was on that private jet alone. No Meghan, no kids, no comfort. Just him and his thoughts, heading into the eye of a royal hurricane. Can you even imagine sitting on that flight? Alone, staring out at the clouds, knowing you're flying straight into a storm that could erase your entire identity?
I would love reconciliation with my family. There's no point in
No one to talk to. No one to reassure him he was doing the right thing. You'd think after the Oprah interview, the Netflix series, the tell-all memoir, Harry would have been done. Why go back? Why care? But this wasn't about headlines or image anymore. It was about his name, his children's future. Because once that title's gone, it's not just a word that disappears. It's protection, legacy, identity. And the wildest part? Harry didn't even want to confront King Charles. The man he was desperate to meet was William, his brother. The one who knew every piece of him. The boy he grew up beside through grief, pressure, and endless royal expectations. That says everything because it means William wasn't just the heir anymore. He was in charge. For months, palace staff had been whispering among themselves. Something was shifting, quietly, subtly. Approvals, decisions, meetings. More and more of it was being directed not to King Charles, but to William. The tone of the palace had changed.
In the land of Montecito, there is one person that truly loves to poke the fire, make sure that she gets some attention.
Charles wanted to be the peacemaker king, the calm after his mother's steady reign. But behind closed doors, his health was faltering. People close to him said he looked tired, worn, heavy with the crown's weight. And while Charles slowed down, William quietly stepped forward. Not with rebellion or defiance, just natural takeover. Staff even had a name for it, the pre-accession era. Meaning, William was already acting as king while his father still wore the crown. But William's vision was nothing like Charles's. Charles wanted gentle unity. William wanted discipline, order, respect. He didn't want a monarchy that looked like a soap opera. He wanted one that commanded power. People close to William said he changed, like something inside him snapped. The once patient prince became ice cold, zero tolerance for chaos. He saw the royal family as a brand. And what do you do with parts of a brand that drag your reputation down? You cut them loose. For years, he'd watched Harry and Meghan dominate headlines, release documentaries, spill secrets, and drag the family's image through mud. Every time William thought it was over, boom, another revelation. He'd had enough. This wasn't about revenge, it was strategy. Cold, clear, business strategy. He built a small, trusted team and asked the unthinkable. Can we legally remove their titles? And the answer, after months of digging, was yes, it could be done. Not easily, not quickly, but it was possible. William was smart. He knew he couldn't target Harry alone. It looked personal. So he used Prince Andrew's scandals as the first step, creating a precedent. If the palace could remove honors from one disgraced royal, then the same rule could apply to anyone damaging the monarchy. Brilliant, right? Ruthless but brilliant. William wasn't acting out of emotion. He was running the monarchy like a company. Cold, logical, results-based. And the result he wanted was simple. Clean the royal brand. Remove the chaos, protect the crown. Meanwhile, back in Montecito, Harry started hearing whispers, specific details that made his stomach drop. This wasn't just palace gossip anymore. William had already put the process in motion. Lawyers, advisors, confidential papers. It was happening now. Harry's team wanted to handle it the polished way, PR statements, diplomacy, calls through official channels, but Harry said no. No more press, no more letters, no more PR games. He wanted one thing, to face William in person, brother to brother, and beg him to stop. He believed if he could just get William alone, no cameras, no palace aides, maybe, just maybe, he could remind him of who they used to be. The brothers who walked behind their mother's coffin. The boys who promised they'd always have each other's backs. But what Harry didn't know, William had already moved past all that. People close to him said he'd made up his mind completely. He didn't want explanations. He didn't want apologies. He wanted proof. Proof that Harry and Meghan would stop trading on the royal name. Stop the projects, stop the Netflix deals, stop the brand. A palace insider even said one line that shook everyone who heard it. William doesn't want an explanation. He wants an example, meaning he wanted to show the world what happens when you cross the crown. William was about to make Harry the warning sign. The ultimatum was brutal. If Harry wanted to keep his titles, he'd have to erase everything he and Meghan built, step away from every project, every partnership, every public word that connected them to royalty. Go silent, disappear, basically go back to being invisible. Harry was terrified because this time, his brother wasn't bluffing. He'd already built the mechanism. Once it started, it couldn't be undone. Titles aren't suspended, they're erased permanently. So Harry boarded that plane, desperate and alone, flying toward a brother who turned into something colder than he ever imagined. And while Harry crossed the Atlantic, King Charles sat in silence, caught between two sons he loved but couldn't save. Imagine that. You've waited your whole life to become king, only to watch your family fall apart. One son becoming a ruthless reformer, the other desperately trying to hold on to his place in the world. Charles wanted peace, but peace doesn't survive in a storm like this. Behind palace doors, advisors reminded him, the crown must survive, no matter what it costs, even if that cost is your own family. Charles looked at both his sons and saw tragedy. William fighting to protect the institution, Harry fighting to protect his identity, and he knew he couldn't protect them both. The monarchy had to come first, always, because once titles start falling, everything changes. Harry wouldn't just lose Duke of Sussex, he'd become plain old Henry Charles Albert David Mountbatten Windsor. Meghan? Mrs. Mountbatten Windsor. The kids no longer Prince Archie or Princess Lilibet, just Archie and Lily. Can you imagine explaining that to your children? You were a prince and princess, but not anymore. It would be humiliating, public, permanent. Every deal Harry and Meghan had, the Netflix contracts, book sales, speaking tours, all built on one thing, being royal. Remove that and everything crumbles. Their influence, their brand, their access, it all fades. In the eyes of the palace, they just become another celebrity couple with a podcast and a past. And that's exactly what William wanted the world to see, consequences. Meanwhile, back at Buckingham, William wasn't celebrating, he wasn't smiling. He stood at his window, looking out over London, feeling the full weight of what he'd done. He hadn't just protected the monarchy, he'd reshaped it. Cold, sharp, modern. The monarchy of survival. Across the ocean, Harry woke up to a different world. The sunshine still poured into his California home, but everything felt darker. The palace had moved on without him. The doors that once opened with his name were locked. The identity that once made him untouchable, gone. He wasn't Prince Harry anymore. He was just Harry. And for the first time in his life, he realized that freedom can feel a lot like exile. Because this story, it was never just about titles. It was about power. And power in the House of Windsor doesn't whisper, it crashes down like thunder. And that thunder now carried one name, William. Because William proved something that will echo for generations. You don't have to wait to be king to act like one. He'd made the impossible choice between family and crown and chose the crown without hesitation. And that's how the new era of the monarchy began. Cold, calculated, unforgiving. But let's be real, this story isn't ending here. Because behind every royal decision, there's always a secret we're not supposed to know. Rumors are already swirling that Meghan's reaction in Montecito wasn't quiet at all. Sources say the walls shook that night, that she stood by the window in disbelief, whispering, "He actually did it? William really did it." And somewhere deep inside, she probably knew this was coming but never thought it would go this far. Meanwhile, insiders claim Harry's been pacing that California mansion, sleepless, calling the few friends who still answer. He's been asking the same question over and over. How do I fix this? But maybe there isn't a fix this time. Maybe the line between brothers isn't just cracked, it's shattered. Because now, it's not about forgiveness. It's about legacy. And legacy doesn't bend for feelings. Buckingham Palace isn't pausing, not anymore. Behind those gilded gates, plans are already in motion for a monarchy built in William's image. Sharp, untouchable, ruthless when it needs to be. And whether the world agrees or not, the message has been sent loud and clear. The crown doesn't wait for love. It survives because it doesn't. So what do you think? Has William gone too far, or was this the only way to save the monarchy? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you made it this far, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You're not going to want to miss what comes next.